Welcome to episode 5 of the Cozy Let's Play. In this episode, I want to tidy up the base and build some little things. For example, in this corner right here, I want to build a pond with like a little park around it. I want to clean up this area right here and probably make a little beach. And in this area on the back here, I also want to make a little kind of beach area. And as you can see, there's still no lanterns on these walls. So I really need to fix that. I'm going to start by finishing our pathway and then putting all of the lanterns in. So all of the lanterns are now on the walls and it already looks so much better. Placing all these lanterns unfortunately means that I'm completely out of iron right now, so I'm afraid we'll have to do a short mining trip later this episode. But I'm really happy with how it turned out, it looks so much better. So as I said earlier, I want to build a pond here, but before we are going to do that, I want to finish off some things that I was doing in the last episode but couldn't quite finish. In the map I showed you last episode, you could see that I wanted to build a tree farm here, but I haven't done that yet. It's not going to be an automatic tree farm, I'm just going to mark off an area where I can plant trees and cut them down so I don't use up this whole jungle for that. So it'll just be a dedicated area for cutting down trees. It's pretty funny, so before we can cut down trees, we'll have to cut down trees. I don't have enough blocks to build the entire fence yet, but I have some logs, so at least I can lay out where the fence will go. And then we can just fill it up later on. I think something like this will be fine. I will strip these logs to make the final fence, and then I'll just put spruce and oak logs on top of them, and it will be like 3 or 4 blocks tall probably. And that will just kind of mark out the area where we are able to cut down the trees. And I'm going to use this small area behind the farms, like in between the farms and the fence, to make a little pathway that we can walk on. And I'll probably make some benches and some other things like that as well. Just so it's kind of like a little park area. Eventually I'll also mark off the area over there to kind of show where it ends. Because right now I only have the marking like at the end of our farms. So when we're at the base we kind of know where this field begins. But of course we're not going to use this whole area for cutting down trees. So I kind of have to mark it off at some point. But right now I want to use my logs to make our first fence a little bit taller, because I don't have enough wood yet to do the other fence as well. Okay, our first wall is now done. That's the wall that separates our farming area from the tree area. I only still need to strip these logs, so I'll do that right now. That already looks a lot better. I'm quite happy actually with how it's turning out. I've gathered some more wood and I'm also going to build the wall at the end now to mark off this whole area. So then it's more clear what is going to go where. Because I don't want to use this entire sparse jungle area just for cutting down trees. Because it's such a beautiful place to build in and I just want to use it for building. I want to continue this pathway to kind of mark out the whole area. So the area will then be marked out by this wall, by the new wall we're going to build over there, and by the water of course, and then finally the pathway. So from above it will kind of look like this, because the pathway will be right here, and then this area here will be the whole tree farm. So the area is now marked out with the pathway as well. So on the map you can see that it now looks like this. In this corner it's not completely connected to the water, but it's pretty steep here, so it's not really possible to do that. But I won't build something here anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then this whole area here in the middle will be for planting the trees. Okay, the wall is now done, and that means we have a nice area to start planting our trees. I've also made it a little bit more flat, so it looks a bit cleaner, and I can see where my saplings are, so I can pick all of them up. Because when everything is on other levels and there's a lot of grass, I just can't see it properly. So this project is now done, let's move on to the next one. So our next project for today is to clean up this area right here next to the river. Right now it's just a piece of floating dirt, so I have to fill that in, and I want to make a little beach right here. But to build a beach we will need some sand, so let's gather some. It's so easy to get sand when I need it, because the desert is like right next to my house. The base is over there and the desert is right here. Okay, I've gathered 4.5 stacks of sand now. That should be enough for the beach. And if it's not enough, we can always go back and get some more, since it's so close to our base. Okay, let's start working on the beach. So I've now made a little beach and it already looks so much better. It doesn't look as messy as it did before. It looks a lot more clean and put together. So the next thing I want to do is make a little beach down here as well. And maybe put down a bench or something like that. And then finally build our balcony, because I still haven't done that yet. So I've now tidied up this area. I've made a little campfire area in here in this corner. So you can sit here and look over the water. And I've made a little bench here. You can also just sit here in silence just to relax. And I've finally made the balcony. It's just a little balcony, but it's better than a door that just ends on a cliff. And it has a really nice view over the lake. So the main thing I wanted to do this episode is to make a pond here in this little area. I don't have all the materials yet, but I'll just see how far I can get. I want to use some candles for decoration, but I don't have any string and I don't have any honeycomb. So I'll probably have to gather those, but I don't want to gather string yet because I don't really have a good source and I don't feel like building an entire mob farm right now. So I'll probably only get the honeycomb in this episode, and then maybe in the next episode I'll build a mob farm and finally make the candles. The pond is going to go in this area that I've just cleared. I'm going to fill it up with water now and then change the blocks for other blocks, because that's easier to make everything a full block of water. Okay, so what I want to do in this pond is I want to make some plants and I want to build them like this. Okay, this looks a little bit weird. I may have to fix this later on, but I want to do something like this and then put brown candles on top of it, but I don't have any candles, which sucks. so I can't do that yet this episode. So I fixed it by giving myself a debug stick, and with that I can't, wait. It doesn't work in survival? I didn't know. I thought I could fix this by using a debug stick, but apparently not. I guess we'll just have to live with it then. So as I said, I can't make the candles today, which sucks. But I'm still happy with what we've done so far. So as I said, I want to do the mob farm for the string in the next episode, but I can get the beeswax today for the candles. But I haven't found any bees yet, I think, so I have to go look for them. So we need shears, and then they can just live in the beehive. Let's try the forest over there first. I want to make a beehive first, and then I'll try to bring the bees back home. I've just noticed that there are bees over there as well, so let's try to find a beehive. Or bee nest, I should say, because they still live in the nest. It's on this tree. Perfect. So I'm pretty sure it works like this. You place a campfire underneath, then you can shear it, right? Yes, you can. And they don't get mad at you. Okay, that's good to know. I know that the bees live pretty close, so I can just go to the bees every time I need them, but I'm not gonna do that. I made this beehive and I'm going to build a little sanctuary for them where they can live in with all these flowers and plants and stuff like that. For now, I'll just place the beehive here with a campfire underneath, and then later on I can build the sanctuary. But I want to bring the bees in first so they can start gathering some honey from the flowers. And then we can start collecting the beeswax to use it for the candles. We can collect it while we're building the sanctuary. Okay, so I'm pretty sure they will follow me. Yes, they do. Amazing. So we're back at the base with the bees now, and I think if I bring them into this area, they will start noticing the flowers in the beehive. I hope. It seems like they do, but will they go into the beehive? They went in, that's amazing. So I think when they come out of it again in the morning, I can just breed them up using the flowers. Then we can have a lot of bees. I'm not sure how many can live in one beehive. I think it's 3, but I'm not completely sure. But in our final sanctuary, we will just build some more beehives and get more bees. So now that we have the bees, I think it's time to start gathering some materials for their little house. With all the materials now collected, we can start building the bee sanctuary. So I'm now done building this little bee house, and it's looking pretty cute, I think. As you can see, I placed the beehives inside with a campfire underneath. I've tested this and it seems to work, so hopefully we won't get killed. I've made some little hanging plants to decorate. So now we only have to bring in the bees. Hopefully I can take them. Let's see, where's the other one? I don't know. Okay, we found both of the bees. Now I can put them in and start breeding them up to get somewhere. I probably won't need a lot of honey and honeycomb, but I need some for the candles, so I'm going to breed them up to get some of it. But like, I don't need stacks of it, so I don't need a lot of bees. Just these few beehives should be enough. Hopefully they can fit. This one is not going in. Why is this one not going in? Okay, both of them are in now. Going to breed them. And now we have some more bees. Let's see. Do they want to use these flowers? I think they are... Yes, they're working. I really hope that they will get used to these beehives instead of looking for the other one. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. So now we have the honeycomb for the candles. We only need the string, but I'm not going to get string today because I want to build a giant mob farm and I don't have time for that right now. I think that means it's the end of this episode. Thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!